What is this waffle that I'm hearing right now? What are we talking about? What are we talking about right now?
We're talking about GDL's called World Cup and how it's a waste of time and players are freaking tired every freaking 30 minutes and they're about to have 2 weeks off before the next season starts.
Anyway, so all irrelevant points that you just made. Let me ask you a question. Factually, right? Let's not talk about your opinions. Let's talk about what's facts. Is the Club World Cup a major trophy factually? Yes or no?
Yeah. Factually, you can say that, but like I said, it's its first edition. It's not even a great tournament.
Okay, so then wouldn't you want to win the first edition? So should we not want to win it because it's the first edition?
No, you do want to win it. There's a lot of big money into it. It's fine. I'm not saying you guys shouldn't
nah, because you're trying to downplay it now.
No. All I'm saying,
hold on. But Corey,
the only thing I said is that
NJ knows. Look, see, like NJ knows.
No, the only thing I said is I am actually happy that my team's not playing the Club World Cup. That's all I said. I didn't say that Real Madrid shouldn't try to win it. There's big money into it. If Barca was there, I would want
No. That's not all that you said.
No,
that's
what
not all that you said.
What
you
did I
said?
say?
It's a shitty tournament. It's not a major trophy. We only think that it is because we think that we're gonna win it.
You're saying factually.
If we lose it, I'm gonna be mad. Like, so let's say if we play PSG in the semifinals, and if PSG beat us, you think I'm gonna sit here and say, nah, it's just the Club World Cup? That's shit. Who can? I'm gonna be pissed. It's a major trophy,
dude,
that I want to win.
This tournament doesn't have great competition. Like even with the smaller teams, right? Upsetting during the regular season. Now that it's the knockout stages, the more the things change in this tournament, the more they're gonna stay the same. At the end of the day, it's gonna be Real Madrid up against PSG, and it's gonna be Chelsea up against Manchester City.
So then, by your logic, then the Champions League is irrelevant then, because the Champions League
is the real.
But the Champions League is the same thing, because there's a bunch of teams in the Champions League that are never gonna win it, that are never gonna make the semifinals, that are never gonna. So like, let's be real. Going into every season, there's only, I'd say, 6 to 7 teams that can realistically win the UCL. The rest of the teams there are.
I don't know. Just a couple seasons ago, Borussia Dortmund made it to the final up against.
And then did what?
Well, did they make it to the final?
Okay, hold on.
But they lost. So what I'm saying is, right? Yes. So you can name the anomaly. By the way, but look at like the last decade. Just look at the last decade of Champions League winners.
Chelsea were whack. They were whack, bro. And they still
Chelsea were not whack, and Chelsea are a big club. Chelsea's not.
They still won though.
But Chelsea winning the Champions League, yes, that was a surprise. But Chelsea are an elite club that same year spent how much money they spent in 2020 that summer window? They spent like 300 million. So Chelsea,
how am I supposed to rate this tournament when there's a $2 billion project in PSG up against Inter Milan in the MLS, a team who couldn't even win the MLS Cup last season, bro?
All right, wait. So one. It's actually funny that you're shitting on Miami because they weren't even supposed to be in the tournament based off the qualifications.
Right. I agree. I said it at the time.
They never in just because of Messi. So technically, Inter Miami weren't supposed to be there. But I get it, right? Messi plays there. It'll bring in more views, more ratings. Makes sense. I don't blame them for doing it. But at the same time, though, based on your logic, again, the Champions League has a bunch of teams that are never going to win it. They're shit.
Yeah, but it also has a lot of teams that have great quality. There's a lot of teams that are really, really good
right now.
Okay,
Real Madrid, Man City,
you admit,
PSG, Bayern.
So let me ask you something.
That's 4 elite clubs right there. Go ahead.
So let me ask you something. Would you be happy if it was the other way around? Like, would you be okay with that? Let's say that Real Madrid didn't qualify and it was Barcelona.
I would be hating on it, yes.
You would hate the fact that you couldn't be there instead of having your team get the resting time. Look at the schedule, season in, season out. The kind of schedule that the players have. And right now, I would actually rather, if I'm a Madrid fan, I would actually maybe rather have Real Madrid start this project and have an actual the right off season with Xavi Alonso, rather than putting Xavi Alonso on the hot seat right off the bat with a major trophy, as you're calling it. And now,
hold on. Can I say something?
As I'm calling it, or as it is?
No. Okay, hold on. Will, technically, it is a major trophy. Listen, technically, it is a major trophy.
Yeah, that's all.
I gotta go, man. Peace out.
All right, big up, NJ. Now, listen, my point is this, bro. I'm looking at this tournament, right? It's mad and organized, bro. I'm not really mad that we're missing out on this one. I can't lie. I don't really
organize. You named okay. Wait, hold on, wait. But bro, do you not realize that, like Jonas, you cannot play football if there's lightning outside? This is in any country. If this game like would have happened in like that Chelsea game, if there was a lightning storm in like fucking Europe, and the competition was Europe, you know that the game gets postponed, right? Like this is not like an America thing. Like
no, it's not. It's not. I just hated the fact that it was 4 minutes to go.
That this happened.
I just hated the fact that it was 4 minutes to go. I thought it was a bad look on America because it was only 4 minutes to go at the end of the day. Like it wasn't like there's no point.
But that's the ref's call. That's the ref's call. I mean, like, but the ref has to make that decision. Like,
I'm not bashing him because of that. I just think it was a bad look. You're right. If you want to call that a major trophy, I guess I can be okay with that. But the fact that it's his first edition. There's a great football minds that have come out and said that this is not a great idea, and I actually agree with that idea. This is one of the reasons why I'm actually okay with Barca not being in this tournament, because like Jurgen Klopp just came out and said, I don't agree. This is the worst idea in the world. Putting the players up again. This is the same thing as the UEFA Champions League. The UEFA Champions League will tell you who the best team in the world is, because that's the best competition.
Technically, that's not true.
That's the best competition there is.
Yes, but technically, okay. So for example,
continental, right?
So for example, Volume, right? When the NBA wins their finals and they say world champions, technically that's not true. Yes, the NBA is the best league, but you're only the champions of America, right? So like with the Champions League. Yes, technically, not technically, but
in America, there's nobody. In America, there's no other team that's why they say the champions of the world. Because if there was another,
but like what I'm saying is that yes, we all know that the best teams are in Europe, but winning the Champions League does not make you the best team in the world technically, because you're only playing against teams in Europe. So you're the best team in Europe. Now with the Club World Cup, everybody qualifies because they've technically, right? Like, so most of these clubs have qualified through winning their version of the Champions League. And so now you're competing against the world. So now you are the best team in the world.
Yeah, but Europe has the best players.
Okay, hold on.
In Europe, only 1 second. Europe has the best players of America in Europe. So
Miguel,
to me, the only best possible way to have the best team in the world, it would be to actually have the best players in Europe play basically a Club World Cup. But that would be
the
Serie A,
can I say something?
The champions of the La Liga. If you want to bring in all the top clubs, like
Barcelona, I hear that.
Everybody, that would be the best in the world right now, because arguably half of the season, it was Liverpool and Barcelona looked at the best teams in the world, and then PSG came along.
No, but that is true. But hold on. Can I say something, Miguel? But you have to take something into account, right? As much as I agree, the tournament, didn't start so well. I wasn't enjoying the first rounds of the game. I think we've had some great games during this Club World Cup. It got better, and credit to it. But I'll say this, right? The criteria to how to qualify. Technically, because of how bad we were in the past 2-3 years, right? 4 years, right? Let's be honest, right? We won one league title, and it was in 2023 before this year.
23. Yeah.
23, right? And also, you have to take what you have to take. Hold on.
Yeah.
You have to take something into account. What you have to take into account is that around that time, not only were we not playing, not only were we not doing well in Europe, we got knocked out of the group stages of the Champions League twice, and those things were the ripple effects to why we couldn't participate in the Club World Cup.
Because it lowers your coefficient. That's why
exactly.
got it.
It lowered our coefficients in the past 5 years. That's why. Don't trust me. The next Club World Cup, we will be there.
No, you understand what I mean? Barca will be there next Club World Cup. Yes.
Exactly.
No, hold on.
Say it's a terrible.
Jonas.
This isn't my point.
No, so then do you complain when it's Copa or when it's the Euros? Because that's also during the summer. So how come nobody complains then?
No, I like this concept. So don't get it twisted. I love this World Cup concept. And I don't even care when people say, but this team is not and that team is not. Listen, you can't have space for everybody, right? Unfortunately, right? Because it has to be fair, right? We have to have the best teams who have performed well in Asia, in South America, in North America, in Africa, in all of these areas, right? If Barcelona wasn't one of those teams performing in the past few years in Europe, they don't deserve to be in it. You understand what I mean, right?
And I would be mad if Real Madrid couldn't qualify because we didn't play well.
Exactly.
I would be mad about it, and I would be jealous.
And that is why
Barcelona might have the chance to have that Club World Cup badge for the next 4 years. That would piss me off if Barcelona won it.
Exactly, because here's the thing.
That would.
It's the first one. You know what it is, Miguel? Miguel, you know what it is, Miguel? It's the first. I mean, no, I know the Club World Cup has been around for years, but this is the first of its kind. Do you understand what I mean? Right? We've never had like a Club World Cup like this. So sometimes when these competitions start, hold on.
So you don't want to win the first of its starts. Like, you don't want to win the first one. Okay.
No, of course, but that's the thing. That's what,
and it's every 4 years now. So look, like Miguel, in like the next 30, 40 years, you do realize that the Club World Cup with this new edition, you will only have a chance to win it twice in 10 years. That makes it the hardest trophy for a club to win. Of course.
Exactly.
And again,
because you know what it is. And you know what it is. And Will, to add to your point, 50s, I said this. Will, I said this in your chat today, where I said there's something that hits different. When you win the Club World Cup and you know for the next 4 years, nobody can hold on to that claim that I'm the best in the world. Yeah, you can hold on to that. And nobody can be like, but this and this. No, if you want the World Cup, you'll be like, bro, until I lose my crown in the next 4 years, I'm the world champion. Do you understand what I mean, right?
It's so like the international
exactly, right.
If Barca was there, of course I would want Barca to win. I want Barca to win every single tournament.
Yeah. And Barca should have been in it. If they wanted to break the rules for Messi, they should have broke the rules.
No. I don't think so. So
no,
what
it's not even break the rules for Messi. I'm not gonna.
What I'm saying is like, why doesn't the Copa del Rey? Why doesn't the Copa del Rey, for example, doesn't have a lot of prestige? Why? Because there's a second division teams playing in it. There's a teams that don't have the kind of level, and it's wake me up when the quarterfinals come around, because that's exactly when it starts to get good.
But it's fine. Don't get it twisted. I look at the Copa del Rey like the English people look at FA Cup. I don't look at it any different like I look at the FA Cup. People can say FA Cup has PR, but to me, the Copa del Rey is our FA Cup. Right, everybody has a shot of winning it. You know what I mean, right? That's why we don't always win it. That's why sometimes we get teams upset us.
My problem with the Club World Cup is just to keep it to resume that just to keep it all under perspective. Okay, I understand. Will, it's if you want to call it major trophy, I'm fine with it. My only issue with the Club World Cup
trophy. Stop saying what I want to call it.
Yeah.
What is it actually factually? Like, is it a
major trophy?
Okay, so I'll say this. Okay, this is my only issue with the Club World Cup. I'm fine if Real Madrid wins it, give them credit. If PSG wins it, give them credit. But what I'm saying, if Barca was in it, I want Barca to win it. I'll say that.
Yes,
but my only issue with the Club World Cup is that what does PSG? Basically, what is PSG? Let's say that Real Madrid wins it, or PSG. Let's say the PSG is going to win it. So the only thing that really PSG had to do, in my opinion, is going to come down to beating Real Madrid and beating Chelsea or Manchester City. That's it. 2 games.
But they got to play Bayern the next round, though. Bayern versus PSG is like the Champions League.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough game, but it's not. They're not going to get beat by PSG, bro.
No, but you never know.
Can I answer this question?
Bayern versus PSG.
Let me answer. Can I please answer this question?
Wait, but is that not like a Champions League quarterfinals, semifinals kind of matchup right there?
But it's a one that the winner. Like PSG are gonna beat.
No, but hold on, Will. But here's the thing. Let me answer this for you guys, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
You see, in the actual World Cup, right? We all know, yes, there's South American teams, yes, there's African teams, yes, there's Asian teams, but most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's the European nations that usually dominate the World Cup. That's let's be honest, in our lifetime,
Argentina and Brazil.
But this is the thing. Argentina just won the World Cup recently. Before them, every other team that won it was from Europe. Do you understand what I mean, right?
So then, if I could piggyback off of that comment, then right. So then, based off of volumes logic, the international club, so the World Cup, the one that we all rate, the most prestigious trophy, by your logic, it's a shit tournament because.
Which one?
No way.
The World Cup.
Because hold on.
The World Cup or the actual World Cup?
The actual World Cup.
Oh, come on, bro.
No, hold on. Volume. But by your logic,
because I just used it. But this is the thing. I just used the criteria, Miguel. I just used it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. Wait. So
no. So what I was just saying to him, bro.
Look, there's teams in Africa who are in the World Cup, like Ghana, never gonna win it. USA, never gonna. These are all shit countries. So if you're gonna downplay the Club World Cup because you don't rate the teams that are in it, then you're going to kind of downplay every competition because every competition has filler teams. There's teams who are just there to make up the numbers.
The reason why the World Cup.
You know what is important? You know why this? You know why I'm excited for this World Cup? Let me tell you why, Miguel. It's very simple. You see, when you look at some of these Brazilian clubs like the Palmeiras, like I remember when Flamengo beat Chelsea, that was a moment. I enjoyed seeing that. Seeing like one of the South American heavyweights defeat a European heavyweight. You understand what I mean, right? When Madrid played Al Hilal and it was 1-1. I know it was people say 1-1, but dude, that's Real Madrid versus Al Hilal. That is a huge result for that club. You understand what I mean? To draw against Real Madrid. You have to understand, bro. It's just like in the actual World Cup. When we watch the actual World Cup, the national team World Cup, right? We don't expect Morocco, Nigeria, all of these nations to win the World Cup. We expect it's either Argentina, Brazil, Germany, France, Spain, one of those countries. But hold on. Let me just finish. However, we are still gonna turn up to watch the World Cup. You want to know why? Because during the World Cup, we could see some stunners. We could see a dark horse. We could see an underdog, right? Like we saw Morocco did 4 years ago. You understand what I mean, right? Right, where they almost did the impossible. The Club World Cup is going to be the same concept. Yes, Madrid, if they're in it, are going to be one of the favorites. Bayern are going to be one of the favorites. When we are in it, we will be one of the favorites, right? If City are in it, they're going to be one of the favorites. They will always be top favorites in every single Club World Cup. However, it will not stop clubs like Palmeiras, plus clubs like Flamengo, right? Asian clubs like Al Hilal, you know what I mean? Like all of these clubs, you don't know. We could watch Flamengo. I know Flamengo just got knocked out today, but we could have seen if Flamengo today knocked out Bayern Munich, we would have been sitting here saying, "Yo, Bayern Munich, bro, just got knocked out by Flamengo." Imagine Palmeiras, right? They're playing. Who are they playing in this? They're playing Chelsea, right? They're playing Chelsea. They're playing Chelsea. Palmeiras are playing Chelsea. Mm-hmm. Okay? If Palmeiras beat Chelsea and reach the semifinals, that's a huge result in this World Cup.
Yeah.
Yes.
So okay, and also Volume. I see that World Cup behind you, and I know that it's there because of Messi. Right. So based off your logic, that because it's small shit teams in the Club World Cup, so then you shouldn't have. Because I'm looking at Argentina's run right here. Saudi Arabia, shit country for football. Let's be honest. No offense there. Nobody expects you to win.
But they won. And that was the moment.
Game.
No, wait, hold on. No. But what I'm saying is that the run that Argentina had was not that impressive. Saudi, Mexico, Poland, Australia. These are 4 teams that are never going to ever win the World Cup. So now how can you now say, oh, well, the Club World Cup has Inter Miami
exactly.
Listen, the international version has their same.
Hold on. Barca Volume. I got something to say about this, bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I agree. First of all, I agree that it is a major tournament, but I'm saying that nobody really cares as much as like the actual World Cup. And let me tell you why. Why is there a bunch of Why is there a bunch of stadiums that are empty? Dude, tell me why.
Bro, it's being played in the US, bro.
Wait. Jonas, you have to realize, Jonas, that's on the clubs.
Am I allowed to answer what Will said or not?
The actual World Cup will never have empty stadiums.
Yes, because that's a whole country playing, not a club. It's a country.
I don't think it matters, bro.
So for example, Chelsea, right? Chelsea don't have a big fan base like that. So for example, look at like Real Madrid. All our games sold out. PSG's games are they're packed, right? But like if you're gonna do Los Angeles FC versus what's that team from like Tunisia? Those are clubs. If it was Mexico versus US, it would sell out.
Even the random games, bro, like Poland versus like Saudi Arabia will sell out, bro, in the World Cup. That's what I'm telling you.
I'll answer this and then I gotta go. I have probably like an hour or so. Go ahead. I think we're missing the point because the reason why, in my opinion, the World Cup, the actual World Cup, it's so prestigious. In my opinion, it's because it's international and it's basically let's say Argentines, right? It's only Argentine players. What happens with the clubs? what happens with the clubs, that PSG can come in with a $2 billion project and build every single best player there is in every single position there is, and just get a stacked team, but just having so much money. Now, the international, why is it so special though? Because Brazil, it's only supposed to be players from Brazil. Argentina, it's only supposed to be players from Argentina. And
Miguel.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you, man. No, I promise, right? Before you go, I will let you finish your point. But I just had to hold you on for that part right there. That part where you talk about buying. I get it, right? Clubs can buy players, right? Clubs like PSG have the money. Barcelona
international, it's different. You don't. El Salvador. How many times do you think I want to see El Salvador represent my country in the World Cup?
They'll never win it. So then that's invalidated. Why are they
there? Had money, imagine if they have the money to just buy a bunch of players from somewhere else and just get a good.
So then, by your logic, but the Euros. So then the Euros is the true test of the best teams from the international, because the Euros you're going against the best international teams. Just like how you said for clubs, the Champions League, right, is what should determine it. So again, so like your logic is just a bit flawed. Like that's
general,
and also what is important, and you know what's important also when you think about it, right? You watch a lot of football, Miguel. You watch a lot of football. You've watched the World Cup. Look at when a country like Argentina in the early 2000s, right, when they had Messi and they had Tevez, Higuain, Di Maria, all of this. But bro, that is not the team that they bought. But for a national team to be that stacked is not fair. You understand what I mean, right? I know that you can say you're gonna say they're Argentinians, but it shows you there are levels to this. Brazil will always have some of the best players, even if they don't buy them.
And why do I rate Argentina so great and so highly? Even though Will just made a great point about the Argentina's run, right, and how it wasn't as great. Because if you look at this Argentina team, none of these players were playing for top clubs, or at least they weren't starting for top clubs. If you look at the likes of like Enzo Fernandez was playing for Benfica, and even Martinez, the goalie, he was playing for freaking Villa, right? What that was that not any of the top clubs. Messi at that time was playing for, I think it was PSG or something. I can't remember if it was PSG or it was actually Inter Miami. I think it was PSG that he was playing. That was right when he left. I think that summer is when Messi left Barcelona. So Argentina didn't even have a player in Barcelona. So like all these players from Argentina, and they were going up against all the best players against the French national squad that was just loaded with stars. But that's
like you're talking about League. The final value. Now you're talking about but again, now you're talking about the final. Again,
right? No, but
I agree with you in a sense, right? In terms of these smaller clubs or international teams, it does. But you can't say that the
Argentina won the World Cup and it wasn't stacked. That's what I'm saying.
No. But what I'm saying, I'm just using your logic against you. If they're small, okay, so because of the small teams that Argentina had to play before getting to the knockouts and then before playing France, then that should invalidate it then. Just like how you're trying to invalidate the Club World Cup because of the small teams.
But I give you the difference between a club that can just buy players outright.
And also, can I say this? No, can I say this to you both? Imagine, let's say we were in this Club World Cup. Let's say we were, okay? We would have been one of the favorites to win this Club World Cup, right? Yeah. If we were in it,
Barca, right?
Okay, now Barcelona, yes. If we were in this club, we would have all agreed we would have been one of the favorites, right? Teams would have looked at but here's the thing, Miguel, right? As much as we would be one of the favorites, I can't look at the Barca team and say we are a stacked team, because we are not stacked. We have great world-class players in certain positions that will be the game winners for us, right? And that is what you mentioned about Argentina. Argentina had a game winner in Lionel Messi who turned up. You understand what I mean, right? They didn't have a stacked team like maybe like Argentina. I'm sorry, like a France. You're right. You understand what I mean, right? But let me explain something about this Club World Cup to you. And here's the thing. I know we're talking about Madrid. I know we're talking about PSG. But the funny thing is, this tournament is not set and match. We don't know. Chelsea could go on to win this whole thing, right? Bayern could go on to win this whole thing. None of us are talking about these guys winning it. You understand what I mean, right? But guess what, bro? You're in it to win it.